If I could rewind 2 years before we'd open Dallas and watch a video of somebody talking about like, yo, we opened this remote office and here's all the lessons that we learned from it, I would have ate that up. This is Taylor Johnson. We're obviously good friends, but Taylor is the general manager here in Dallas. Took the risk and the plunge to trust in the vision of that we could do an out-of-state office and moved his family out here 18, 19 months ago. And we thought it'd be sick. We've been out here working all week, just fine-tuning things with the office, with the new ProSlat garage store, etc. And thought it'd be sick to sit down at the end of this week and just talk about all the lessons that we've learned together, that Taylor's learned on his own over the past year and a half. Tried to film this on the golf course today. We're playing this nice course, PGA Frisco, Fields Ranch. This was a cool thing that we talked about doing next time I came out, you know, if things were going well out here, which they're going really well. So it was a new course. We had a caddy, like it was really hard to film out there. We tried to film in the cart, like golf YouTuber style, and it didn't work very well. So for the record, we did work our butts off out there on the course trying to film content, but I don't think you'll see any of it. So we're doing it now. I think the topic of this video will be like biggest lessons learned 18 months into opening our first auxiliary office. And with that prompt and question, like what are the first things that come to your mind?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but the first thing was just understanding the business in general. Like coming from operations and being on that side of the business, it's really easy to say, well, why didn't we do it this way? Or why aren't we moving faster in this area? Or why, where's Porter and Spencer? Why are they not in the day-to-day of the operations? Like if we have guys that are out, why can't they come out? And it's like just understanding those things and being like, okay, now I understand why there needs to be a line for a lot of different things when it comes to operations and decisions being made and the financials of everything and the time of just that, it really comes down to like the general manager or the owner or salesman. That's what they're paid to do, is to do those responsibilities. And anytime that they get dragged out to do, to be frank, like a lower skill position, it takes away from the ability to make more money in another area and for them to do their job. And so seeing that and understanding that, it's like that was a big something that like I just didn't realize as much on the operations side, even though I was, more involved. Like I guess I was more involved than most guys in the operations side, but
yeah, that's been really sick because we've been able to work together just a lot more like fluidly, because that was like a big personal thing for you, I think, and that benefited the whole company, was you were able to you were able to step into a position where you really understood how hard it is to get all these departments just in general working together to maintain the level that we're at, and then how much extra work it requires to grow the company, because that's really hard. It's hard for us to convey that message down the chain of command to the whole team. If there's a new floor technician that's been here 6 months and they've been hearing for 6 months about like a goal we have or growth, they might be wondering like, why is this taking so long? Why is this so difficult? Like what's actually going on in the office? And honestly, in some way, like there's only so much we can do to explain that to them, but it takes both sides trying to understand it. But even with you, like before Texas, there were delays and things that happened that were hard to like fully understand or for us to convey why they happened. And it's been really dope for you to come out here and like see that, so that we can understand each other more and just be on the same page and not have to spend a lot of time like explaining why things are taking long, spend more time actually doing the work that's going to move the needle. And that's part of why I think this type of content is valuable, is I hope our team watches this video and tries their best to understand that. I get it that it's hard to understand still, but
yeah, for sure.
Growth is like beyond a full-time endless pursuit for me and Porter and everybody that's involved in it, and you absolutely like trying to grow this office. And
apart from that, other parts of that they operations or the guys don't get to see is just how hard it is to close jobs. Yeah. And when you don't understand the difficulty of that, it just seems like, oh, they just missed that. It comes across like sales doesn't care. You know what I mean? Sales doesn't care, or, oh, they missed this. And there's definitely things that is missed, and we need to do better and refine our, the communication between sales and the customer and sales and the operations team, and to make everything just more smooth and not have as many errors. But at the same time, like we're selling a 5-star experience, and so there's gonna be this expectation from the customers that this is gonna be a 5-star experience. Yeah. So you can't ask for a 5-star experience if it's exactly the way you pitched it. Like, if this is the way you sold it, then anything that's not above and beyond that isn't gonna be part of the 5-star experience.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for these guys to see, like, okay, on the sales side, like, we're having to do anything and everything we can to sell and provide, you know, quality over giving people discounts. And it's like the only way to do that is by, you know, maybe doing a little bit of extra that other companies aren't willing to do. Yeah. And so that doesn't get translated, you know, to the operations team. And I understand the frustration, but, you know, there's still an expectation on all fronts that everybody is here to provide a 5-star experience. And so definitely seeing that as well.
Yeah, it's hard because it goes both ways too. There's times when the sales guys do everything right and our ops team will make mistakes and customers will be mad. You know, not every like frustrated customer, bad review came from like because the sales team did something wrong. So then the sales team will feel the same way. And it's frustrating as we grow that can be like a little bit of headbutting, because we knew it would be, and we've tried really hard to prevent it with the culture and like promoting, let's talk about conflict, let's have good communication, but then it still can be a frustration. So I just think it's cool that you've been able to have the experience to understand that, because the more people in like the core leadership that get that, the better we can make it less of a problem. I was just thinking while you were talking, like, so those are huge lessons that like you learned kind of as a professional that like helped you professionally to step into the role of a general manager and into like the top tier leadership of the company. How about like personally, as like kind of the whole thing of like, you worked really hard to move up, you were the guy for the job, you chose to move your family out here, you came out here, whitewashed this area, knew nobody here. We were in the middle of a rebrand and a new website and like starting our SEO over basically, but we still felt like we just needed to send it. What kind of big things do you feel like that, I put you in a crazy position, so like what did you learn from that personally?
Yeah, I think a couple of things is I felt like I did a good job of, you know, having a good base of my family and my wife and my kids and having like a good routine there and choosing the right partner to do this with, because my wife, like, she deserves just as much credit as I do, because there's a lot of times where I've been out 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock sometimes, and she's home with 2, 3 kids, and she works full time too. So it's like, she's a badass, and so she's definitely like helped me to be able to do what I need to do on the personal side. But also,
that's huge.
I mean, the first 3 or 4 months, like, and I've kind of lacked in this area and try and fail, but it's like a constant process. But like working out, like I was really consistent with working out and trying to lose weight. And I think it was a company-wide effort leadership-wise that I wanted to continue to do here in Texas, even though I wasn't with you guys, where you guys were doing the personal trainer and going and working out together and doing cold plunge. And I tried to, you know, hold myself to a standard of that still here in Texas, even though I was remote from you guys. Like working out and doing those things and doing 75 hard. I mean, I didn't ever finish it, but like, you know, that was like a thing where I
cut
just
this part out.
Yeah.
Just stop at doing 75 hard.
Yeah. So like that part was really beneficial to my mental side. Like, I don't think if I was working out and doing those things, I would have had the energy and the mental fortitude through those first 3 months that were really difficult of not having any jobs, closing 4 or 5 jobs a month, and just like not having leads and just trying to grind and find ways to network and to do outreach and prospecting. And, you know, it was tough for sure.
I feel like you knew that was gonna happen though. Like, to encapsulate that, it was like you put yourself in a super uncomfortable position, and it made it really clear to you, like, I can't get away with not being good at all of this stuff anymore, because the position I've put myself in demands the best of me every day. Therefore, I have to take care of my health, I have to work my ass off, and I have to be consistent. That's really relatable for me. It's one of the, as much as like being a business owner can be really, really lonely and hard sometimes, like, I'm grateful for the position because it forces me to be dialed every single day. And sometimes I'm burnt out, dude. I don't want to be dialed some days. I want to be lazy or just like not be at my best. And like,
Yeah.
Be a lazy ass, honestly, is what it comes down to. And it's not acceptable. It's not an option, and that's hard, but it demands the best of you. And, you know, full circle, I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah,
It's made me way better.
For sure.
So
that part of it, it's still something that, like, even now, obviously, it's still something that I have to make a priority. And if I don't make it a priority, it's really easy to let the business side of things take over. Yeah. And then I feel like I just feel the lack of energy. I feel like all these other things that start to, my brain fog and different things that just helps with the organization and doing all the different things that we do, because we have 2 businesses now that are together, and there's basically 2 general managers, like 2 people technically doing this job, but now I'm doing both jobs. And so
yeah,
it is like I need to be on my A game, and to do that, like I gotta be more dialed on that side. So even now, like, there's always room for improvement and getting better. But yeah, that's definitely something that, like, you know, being on the ops side or being where I was before in Utah, like, I didn't have to, like, that wasn't a necessity. It didn't feel like a necessity as much as it does now, where it's like, I need to, like, to be able to be a successful, happy, energetic person.
Yeah. So I guess the lesson learned there is intentionally putting yourself in really uncomfortable situations you're not prepared for, like, will make you better, which is sick. And I know everyone kind of knows that and talks about it a lot, but that's huge.
I'll say, like, I think when you're put into high stress situations, you have 2 options. You can push back, or you can conform and let it mold you. And I think that pushing back allows you to mold yourself into the person you need to be able to, like, combat that.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it, you know, force you into a blob of whatever.
Yeah, which just makes you better, makes life more fulfilling, gives you more opportunities. Yeah, I think I remembered what I was gonna say. Like, we made a really intentional decision to, rather than stay where we were at, so just we were taken care of, we wanted to build a company where everybody's dreams could be taken care of. And although that's come with some personal sacrifice, like, it's been so fulfilling, and it's made us way, way better to, like, make decisions that way. It's made us way better leaders, way better business owners than we would have become if we stayed at that level. So I think it just kind of feeds into this whole lesson of, like, growth needs to feel inevitable, and, like, the only option is to grow. Kind of that quote of, like, staying where you're at is painful, trying to grow is painful, like, choose your hard type of situation.
Yeah.
You know, marriage is hard, being alone and getting divorced is hard, like, choose your hard. Like, what are you gonna go after? Being a super big, fat ass, lazy person is really hard in a lot of ways. Getting in super good shape and feeling good is really hard, choose your hard. And we've, you know, as much as the growth and the things in the background can be maybe hard to see because it takes a long time for things to turn into anything, like, we have been aggressively pushing the needle for a long time, and it's put a lot of people, it hasn't put everybody in the company in a position where they have to step up like you have, but it's put a lot of people in high pressure situations, and it's been cool. Like, we've all stepped up to it. You've stepped up massively. You've become a better salesperson, a better communicator, a better leader. And I hope that it's turned into, like, a better father and a better husband. You're a good friend. Like, you're better in every way than you were a couple of years ago. And you weren't bad. Like, not at that time did I think Taylor was bad at any of those things, but you're better.
Yeah.
And it's just cool, dude, that, like, doing really hard shit like this has been, you know, so beneficial for you.
Yeah, it's not lost on me that it's like, this position isn't an opportunity that everyone can be a part of too. Like, it's the first office that we're gonna have, like, it is a really cool opportunity, as much as it is a risk, to come down and get to do this, because I get to, I mean, to be frank, make more money. I get to be a part of bigger opportunities. I get to push myself harder. I get to be, you know, be the person that chooses the team that's around me out here, which is its own struggles and can be difficult in itself, and choosing the right people and can make or break a company. But yeah, I just feel grateful, obviously, to even be in the opportunity. As hard as it's been, like, I can't help but sit back and, like, be very happy and content with, like, the progress that I'm making, and we're making in Dallas, and as Lifetime Coatings and ProSlat garage stores and ProTime. Like, it's, I mean, I think, like we said, we look back a year from now, or a year ago, and we were like, I had made progress and made contact with, you know, the owner of ProSlat, just to be like the preferred installer for ProSlat.
Yeah.
And then
it was nowhere close to a partnership a year ago.
No, like if you would have said in a year you're going to be the general manager of Pro Lifetime, I would have been like, what happened?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Shit. How did that happen?
Yeah. Because it was like such a fight tooth and nail to like get to the point where we could install for ProSlat, and then from there it's just like all the hard work and our team and everything that we're doing on the leadership side.
10 months ago we were pitching them on it, 9 months ago still pitching, 8 months ago still pitching, then pause, 4 months ago finally having the conversation again about like, can we work together on this? And it's been rapid since then, the last 4 months, like the alignment we've been able to create. Yeah, just shout out to like, you were being the right person to impress them. That's the thing, like we judge them the same way. If I wasn't constantly impressed with them as people and how hard they work and that they can handle shit, I wouldn't have wanted to partner with them anyways. And it's really cool that they feel the same way, and you're very much so like at the tip of that is like being someone that's been super impressive within our company, but to create a partnership with a way bigger company than us. I think the other angle that's cool to talk about this from is kind of more of like the business lessons that we learned. Like we came into opening this office with as good of a plan as we could possibly have.
Yeah.
And some of it was right, and some of it was very wrong, and some of it was somewhere in the middle. I think it'd be cool to share what we think the biggest business lessons are that we've learned. Because I think some of the lessons we learned is like it could be the things we did right, and it confirmed that it was right. Those are cool to share. Also the things we did wrong, and like those are obviously probably more cool to share even, because it's like we tried to do it this way and it totally didn't work.
I think the top of mind for me is like, it's a new market. So as much as we know our product and we have our systems and our processes, which obviously work really well because we were able to replicate and come to Dallas and still kick ass, but it's like there was a lot of learning the market and figuring out what works, what makes sense. The consumers are different, the garage sizes are different, the houses are different, like the projects are just like a little bit different, and it's not a huge difference, but it's enough that you do have to adapt and learn the new market, and that does take time.
Yeah.
Just from like the sales side and the marketing side and all of that. And I think to this day we still obviously see a huge difference, and conversations I have with Megan at ProSlat is like, you guys sell way more of this product in Dallas than the Florida sells a different product, and like there's just gonna be differences. And I think going into the next office or the next opportunity, it's gonna be, I think, really good for us to be able to identify those differences, and it'll be a lot quicker to just realize, okay, this is what we see that this is selling a lot better, like we need to focus our attention on this and push this.
Yeah, along with the kind of the sales piece of it, I think it's been 18 months, but we're still figuring this out. But I think it made it blaringly obviously how poor our prospecting side of the business is. When we opened that office, there was no partnership even in Utah with ProSlat. We were solely a coatings company. We just rebranded, and we kind of came out here with like the best plan we could, like I said, but it was bullshit. Like you did not have a great plan or process to follow to prospect. We've always been, it's worked up to this point, but we lean way too heavily on like the internet and online marketing. We don't do enough outbound, and that's changing right now as we talk about, but that made it really, really clear like how badly we need to do that. Because if we're gonna open another office, we need to be able to pull all the data, choose the location, do all the busy work of like hiring a lease, equipment, making sure we can operate. But then the most important thing is we need to be able to like have a quick time horizon of within 3 months. We have X amount of accounts that we've picked up, and the marketing's working, and that's generating stuff too, but we know what to do in our spare time to like generate. I feel like that was a huge lesson I learned, and it's been a painful lesson because frankly we haven't made any money back on the initial investment to opening that, and it's not a scalable model to do the whole investment and 18 months in have made 0 pennies back on it. It's worked really well. It's taken care of everybody that's been involved in it, so I'm not too worried about it. But when we're talking multiple locations, I think I've just learned a ton about like the business model, and now it's still being refined because of the partnership with ProSlat, but I'd like to have a way more refined business model, financial forecasting plan, clear break-even points, clear return on investment points. We didn't really have the ability to do that, so it is what it is. I think we knew we were going in with like kind of not a full blindfold on, but like We looked like pirates, dude. We had an eye patch on.
Yeah.
All of our races.
We didn't know it was the first time any of us had ever done it, and that was the constant conversation of like I'd ask Porter and Spencer a question, they'd be like, I don't know, we've never done this before. So it's like, dude, we got to figure it out together, or like we need help figuring this out. Like, I have conversations about prospecting. Well, I was like, how are you guys talking to builders? How have you guys built these relationships? And Matt's like, well, a lot of it's just come organically. Like, or it's like, we don't know. Like, we have to figure it out. And so that for sure was like the one thing. It's like, there was no system in place where it's like, here, Tay, you have to do this exactly. And I think now we're building that. So the next office is gonna it's gonna be like, you get there and hopefully within 6 months, we're firing in all cylinders.
Yeah, dude. And to speak towards like a good thing that we did was, I think, like you just said, it was a conversation we'd have. We knew that we didn't know what we didn't know, and we knew that by sending it and doing this and preparing as good as we could, but at some point you just have to take the plunge. We knew that it would teach us all the things that we didn't know and give us the opportunity to improve and learn. So I think there's a cool business lesson in there that as long as it's calculated risk and you're doing everything you can to be prepared and there's enough green flags there, that the only way to make it work is to send it, which we did. And now we're way more prepared to send it again because, you know, like, paralysis by analysis is very real. If we could have probably convinced ourselves to wait another 6 months or another year until we like knew more, we would have missed out on all these opportunities that we're having. So I think that's a cool lesson, a cool confirmation of like, you got to do the best you can, and there's still like the right timing. I'm glad we didn't do it a year previous, but I'm glad we did it when we did, because it forced us to just kind of suffer through like, here's what you don't know every day. We don't know. It just forced us into a place of like, the only option is to be figure it out people, to be a scrappy figure it out company. And now that's kind of just how we operate. And the company is more collectively comfortable with like, we intentionally put ourselves in those situations because we know that's how we will grow. Dallas has taught, what you've done in Dallas has taught the whole company that, I think, which is sick.
It's great. I mean, it's been hard, but it's been good. A lot of like unanswered questions, but at the same time, like figuring it out over time, collectively, you know, as a leadership, which is good. This week I've almost wondered if I've been annoying to anybody, because I've been feeling like overwhelming positivity and stoke and excitement for the future based on like this current state of Dallas and how well things are going. And it can be hard to feel that way ever in business because it's just constant chaos and problem solving. And Lifetime has problems, ProSlat has problems, the combination has problems to solve. But I just, dude, like, I'm so proud of you and what has been built out here and like everything that you've done to suffer through that. I'm grateful that you've been willing to suffer through it, because when I think of like where this was 18 months ago and where this started as just like ideas in our heads that like maybe we could do this, we're doing it, and we're doing it well. We're doing it successfully. I've always felt like opening our first remote office would be the hardest one because we would know the least about like how many things would break. And we've successfully done it. So congrats to you, dude. I think the future's crazy bright. Like, I don't like to gas things up too much and like overhype things, especially at work, because things will take a lot of time and a lot of patience, and I don't want people to get a false sense of like, oh, they're dangling a false carrot. Like, I don't ever want to do that, but I feel extremely good about the amount of like green check boxes that have been checked off this summer and this spring. And dude, I just think the future is really, really bright, and you are in a really cool spot out here. I agree.
You're gonna build something big.
I agree. I mean, obviously I appreciate everything you said, and we've been working our ass off out here. I've been working my ass off out here, so I'm glad that like that shows. Obviously, it's good to feel validated in that sense of like, when you're doing something hard and you can feel alone, and you guys were building something and going through your own hardships in Utah, and I was out here with me and Matt, and like sometimes it can feel isolated. But I'm like, this week and having you guys come in and just like all the positivity continues to help grow like our confidence in what we're doing, as well as I don't think it's overly positive. I think it's just it takes that as a leader to help sell the vision and be confident in what we're doing. And I think if you weren't positive, it would be a big problem.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
So I agree. I'm very excited about the future of Dallas and ProSlat and everything that we're doing, and it's only growth from here. Like, we've only progressed like crazy this year, revenue, and there's still things to be figuring out so that we can turn higher profits. And I think every step of the way we've learned, and we've taken the next step to be able to progress and put the systems and processes in place. We have full-time salesmen. We have, getting to 2 crews. Like, this just everything right now is, like you said, it's trending in the right direction. It's positive. Yeah, we're firing on all cylinders. It's starting to feel and look like an impressive office in both Utah and Dallas, which is really difficult to do. Like, have that uniformity across 2 offices when they run so separately, remotely from each other. We have communication realistically once a week most of the time.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that is awesome.
It's
just
really,
speaks
really
to the
cool,
team.
dude. I think you should be really proud of it. And to make sure it doesn't go unsaid, we've talked about it a lot, but I'm so impressed with the team too. And shout out to everybody that's contributed. Matt especially, who came out here with you and has done so many different things. He's done everything he's been asked to do. He's worn a lot of hats as well. Like, he's killed it. Josh and Aaron are killing it on ops. Damon has killed it, and now we have Julian as a full-time sales rep. Like, the team is just, we had that cool meeting yesterday. At least it was really cool for me. Hopefully it's cool for everybody. But it was just really cool to sit in there with like our small 5-6 person team and be like, okay guys, this is the squad, and like, we're going to blow this up from here, because Dallas is going to be a huge market. It's going to be a huge office, and I hope everybody who's currently a part of it is able to, continue to grow within it and be a huge part of it going forward, led by you, and do some big shit, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out team, shout out squad.
Thanks, bro.